Today's guest host has a new show right here on CNBC. Alex Rodriguez's new series, Back in the Game, premieres tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. In Back in the Game, Alex helps ex-athletes and others, former entertainers, regain their financial footing. Here he is with former heavyweight champ Evander Holyfield.
Tell me a little bit more about your house.
My house was 54,000 square feet.
54.
And I paid for it in cash.
You paid for it in cash?
Yeah, I paid for it.
How much was that?
It cost me $20 million.
$20 million. Evander spent a big chunk of his fortune building this massive home. But by the time he moved in, his finances were so compromised, he couldn't even afford the upkeep. Gardening, the pool, the bowling alley, air conditioning, electricity, phone bills. It takes about $1 million a year to maintain this house. Now that's a lot of money. Champ, what are some of the things you're doing today for income?
Personal appearance.
Any idea, ballpark, how much you're bringing in?
20,000.
What else? I know you're trying to sometimes promote fights.
I'm a promoter, boxing promoter. And
what's that company called?
A Real Deal Promotion. They caught the person who was doing all these bad things. They put him out.
Was someone taking money?
Well, you understand, that's what usually happens. Now they relaunching and we got new people, so we're trying to get it back right. When you don't have other bodies looking out for you, everybody taking something for themselves. Man, everybody was just stealing, man. They just stealing.
Seems like you trusted the wrong people.
I couldn't be struck immediately, Alex, it's not always going to be about the revenue side of the equation. It's going to be about the cost side, and that must be hard to tell people that you just can't live like this.
That's right.
I mean, what are his options for the revenue side at this point?
You know, a lot of times it's not the revenue. We knew we got the revenue right. I mean, he made over $250 million. It's the people, it's the process.
What can he do now to generate revenue?
I mean, one thing about Evander, we walked all around the city, and the people of New York spoke. I mean, he is beloved.
He's so well known.
Right.
He's so famous. He's trusted. He's got a great brand. But instead of doing fire extinguisher or barbecue sauce, is really get his brand that is still pretty solid and genuine. In today's world, you win by being truthful and genuine.
Yes.
And he's both. So we got him into some protein. We got him back into GNC and get him where his superpower and his brand can actually bring value.
How about the expense side of the equation? How do you restructure all of his, the way he's living right now? His whole situation, I would think you need to look at.
Yeah, you know, his people, his process, and his economic alignment, and there was none there. I brought in my buddy Marcus Lemonis, my high school buddy, and we asked him, so tell us, champ, who manages your money? He did not know the name. He had to look in his phone and he said, oh, it's George. But he can remember who he fought when he was 12 years old, who was his trainer, who was his nutrition. I mean, first, last name. I said, we got to get you to know George better. And who is George, by the way?
Hey, Alex, one of the things that has always impressed me about you is you became a millionaire when you were a teenager. How did you figure this out so quickly and so early? You may not have made every step right along the way, but I remember talking to you over 11 years ago when you were already a massive real estate investor. And I think you told me at the time you'd rather be on the cover of Fortune than on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You've known this for decades, what you kind of had a goal and a plan in mind.
Becky, I learned by making a lot of mistakes. And I learned because I was a #1 pick out of Westminster Christian in Miami as a 17-year-old. So I've had a lot of time to practice. Average career is 5.5 years. I played for almost 25 years. You know, you make 90% of your income as an athlete from age 20 to 30, and less than 5% of our 750 players have a college degree. So I'm not Joe over here, but I would short the stock. So one of the greatest competitive advantage that we have as athletes is we make a lot of money early. Well, who is the Warren Buffett, the Barry Sternlicht, the Mark Lazary in your town? And go dollar per dollar and go take a 10 or 20-year ride. But you can't miss on these people. You need a championship, you need Mariano Rivera, you need Andy Pettit. Well, the same thing in finances. You need the Barry Sternlichts and you need the Warren Buffetts in your community or in any community to help you out.
One thing that strikes me is a lot of the lessons from this can be applied to normal people, too.
Absolutely.
Just the idea of getting your house in order. Personal finance is not something we teach in high school. It's not something we teach in college. And I wouldn't say it's something that the American public in general is very well trained in.
There's two polarizing subjects when you go to a cocktail, when you talk with friends that people get really shy about. when you
Politics.
talk politics
And money.
and financial literacy, right? And you see people shrink in both sometimes. Financial literacy, it takes practice, it takes discipline. The one thing about athletes and entertainers, they have the potential to be great business people, but you have to work at it. I work so much harder at my business than I did at baseball because I don't have a competitive advantage. I'm going up against really, really smart people with great teams, and my competitive advantage is my team has to be at an institutional level and has to do what they, walk the walk every day.
Talk about, you get Evander. How many shows have you done?
I've done one with Joe Smith and then 4 in the season. So it's going to be
4 in the season. Who else?
So we have.
Are we allowed to talk about it, or do we?
Sure.
Okay.
We have Brian, who you mentioned.
Off camera, Brian Dunkelman.
Right.
And if people
Explain to people.
Yeah, that's the problem. The first year of American Idol, there were 2 guys, Ryan Seacrest and Brian Dunkelman, who we don't really talk about anymore. He did something. I can't remember what it was, but we know about Ryan Seacrest, who's everywhere, basically.
He's on his way to be a billionaire one.
On his way to be a billionaire. I have no doubts, and he's on with Kelly Ripa, and among a million other things that he's doing. And Brian Dunkelman, you don't think of him as like an athlete that got, sort of taken advantage of or blew all his money or something. It's a fall from a pretty high level to where he'd like some type of redemption, I guess.
Joe, a lot of times, Warren Buffett always says you can throw 30% of your IQ out the door and you have plenty to succeed. And it's not that Ryan is so much smarter than Brian. It's just, making decisions in real time. And Ryan obviously made the right decisions.
I guess so. All right. We're going to find out who else and how. I mean, I don't think you'd ever run out of people, would you? I mean, this could be a long-running.
The phone is now ringing off the hook because they know we're trying to do the right things. And they're projecting in a good way. And we're getting them back. I was going to say, back in the game.
With Evander, finding these revenue potential places for him, straightening up his brand. I mean, that's great. That's a wonderful service to be able to do.
And he's excited. He's re-energized and he's having fun.